4 months?
4 months.
That doesn't look good for us.
No, it doesn't. We're slacking.
Why did...
We've done a lot in this time. We've done a lot.
You rebuilt the engine.
Yeah, but that was only like 30 days.
I'm not quite sure why you rebuilt. Why did you rebuild the engine?
Well, the motor was just kind of worn out and had a lot of blow-by, and apparently valve seals spread through the whole motor. Timing chain was really, really slack. So it's a good thing I rebuilt it, because if we had put nitrous on it, it would have broken immediately.
But that was your original goal, was to blow it up, so you had an excuse to put that Hemi in.
That is true, but yeah. I've kind of become attached to the inline six a little bit, and I want to enjoy it. So I don't know if we're going to blow it up, but we're going to do burnouts. Okay. I think. I hope.
Well, the last time the people saw this car, we promised them the next video would be us examining the O2 readings in every pipe to see how well that intake manifold actually works.
Yeah.
But
we've changed the intake manifold at this point.
But you've changed the intake manifold now, and you've gone from a 2-barrel to a 4-barrel Holley carb, and now the car doesn't run so hot. The issue lies in the ignition system and the fact that it has a non-functioning vacuum advance system.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Right. So we're going to attempt to remedy that with a brand new ignition system from MSD. This one will purely be about trying to get the engine running properly after the Jake Davis rebuild program.
You make it sound like a bad thing.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's been great for the car. It's just the final little tuning details that have been a pain in the butt.
So she's reliable?
Oh, yeah, I drove it here.
Okay.
I sat in traffic for over an hour on the way here. That's a real test of a rebuild.
Okay. So we've got parts here that probably cost as much as this car.
Easily.
Yeah. Which is a solid investment. Because I feel like Jake's here is going to have this car for a long time.
It makes sense if you don't think about it, really. That's how you got to look at all this money that's been thrown at this car.
Key to life here, hot rodding life. Don't save your receipts.
Yeah, don't do it. It'll just make you cry.
If you do, don't ever go back and add them up. And if you do save the receipts, don't ever leave them where your wife can find them.
Grounds for divorce.
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Let me give you a quick rundown of what we're doing here. So over here we have the Clifford Performance 4-barrel intake that I got instead of the 2-barrel that y'all saw in the last episode, and the Clifford Performance header that y'all saw with O2 bungs welded into each runner, so we can tune each individual cylinder and do direct port injection nitrous. In addition, there's a Holley 4-barrel that I'm going to be throwing on top of that intake, some low-car cables to control my throttle and transmission kickdown, all the brand new bearings and everything and rings that are going in for the motor rebuild. We're even putting spark plugs in that are heat range colder to help keep the cylinder temperature down and hopefully not melt through one of those cast original pistons. We'll see how that goes though. The main thing that's going on is my buddies at Competition Cams sent me a complete cam kit for this car. And a quick rundown of that, it's the K68-239-4 cam kit, and it includes a cam with the grind of X4262H. The cam kit includes the cam, obviously, and a completely brand new gear set for the timing, and lifters, valve springs, retainers, retainer clips, valve seals, and they even threw in some of their awesome new break-in oil that they have with the correct amount of ZDDP additive to properly break in your cam. That's important. But that's going to go in and give me a longer duration. At 50 with this new cam, it's got an intake duration of 218 and an exhaust duration of 226, with a lift of 493 on the intake side and 512 on the exhaust side, and a lobe separation angle of 111 degrees. In addition, their valve springs are a lot beefier and actually have a damper inside, and the seat pressure on these new ones are 109 pounds with an open pressure of 317 pounds, which will help me not to float the valves at higher RPMs. So that's really going to be the main thing that helps out this motor. But other than that, we're putting a new Melling oil pump on, a Wix oil filter. And the original ignition system's going back on until we take it back up to Mike's, where it's going to get some MSD goodies. And my favorite part, the chrome valve cover. Should add at least 20 horsepower, I think. We'll see how it goes, though.
Look at that. She is beautiful.
Chrome valve cover.
Man, all shiny. We've got a Holley 4-barrel there.
The Clifford Performance 6 = 8.
Was there always a chrome valve cover on there?
No, that's new.
You changed that, okay.
My buddy Chris Vibrolas sent me that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Chris from the band, the Vibrolas?
Oh, yeah.
Love that band. Will it do a burnout?
Well, the carburetor issue. It has that little bog.
But
right on.
Have you tried to do a burnout?
Ish.
Oh, okay. Well, let's make that today's goal then. New ignition system, get it tuned, try to do a burnout. By Monday, because I'd like to have a video to upload by Monday.
By Monday.
Yeah.
Are we working this weekend?
We're going to have to, I guess.
Okay.
There's a couple ways we can go about this. If you're confident you know what the firing order is, and that you're able to find top dead center, and that your balancer is marked properly, you can just go nuts like it's Christmas and take the whole thing apart.
Not 100% sure on that balancer thing.
Okay. Then let's pull spark plug out of number 1, TDC it, make sure the balancer is in the ballpark where it needs to be,
Okay.
and then we'll pull the distributor out.
Alrighty.
Right now, we're going to attempt to find top dead center on the number 1 cylinder, because we're not sure if the balancer is marked properly. This is a piece of welding rod. This is aluminum filler rod. And I'm going to shove it down into the cylinder, put it on top of the piston, and then as Jake rotates the motor over and the piston moves, it'll move this, and it'll give me a good indication of where the piston is. You'll also hear air moving when it's on the compression stroke and both valves shut. You'll hear air blowing out of the hole. And if I get my thumb in there, I'd put my thumb over the hole and we could do it that way, but this will also help. Alright, and the reason I'm using aluminum is so that when the piston comes up, if it does try to smash this in here, the aluminum rod is less likely to gall the aluminum piston. Alright, man. Hit it. Still going down. This is a lot easier when you have all the spark plugs out.
Yes.
As Jake's finding out.
Much easier.
So this should be the exhaust stroke as it comes up. Go ahead again. Yep, don't hear any air. Keep going. Now the piston's going to go back down, and this will be the intake stroke.
Hope they're enjoying the grunting and heavy breathing from underneath the car.
You're almost there, dude.
Oh, my goodness.
Alright, piston went all the way down. There's your intake stroke. Now go back up. This should be the compression stroke. I hear air. It's building compression, which means the valves are shut. Okay, hold it right there. Now, the piston stopped moving, and that's known as the dwell period. And I'm going to look now for the mark on the balancer and the timing pointer. Which would be a decent spot to drop the distributor in and set the idle timing, the base timing. Garbage. Alright, gearheads, this is MSD's Pro Billet distributor for AMC Jeep 232 to 258 cubic inch inline 6-cylinder engines. Comes with the cap, spark plug wire retainers, all the hardware to control the centrifugal advance curve through the use of springs and bushings. The springs control how fast the curve kicks in. Stiffer the spring, slower you get ignition timing advance. The bushings control how much advance you're going to get. Thicker the bushing, the less travel the system has, the less ignition advance you're going to get. The thinner the bushing, the more advance you're going to get because the plate travels further. Pretty cool. This also includes the pieces you need to lock out both the centrifugal and the vacuum advance systems if you decide you don't want to use them. Billet housing comes with lube for the distributor gear, which is nice. Quality parts, quality components, fairly lightweight. Perfect for a car that costs as much as this ignition system. A probably should have mentioned that before you did that, you should have put the gasket on the shaft.
It might have been a good idea, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's in the package right
We'll
there.
make it happen. Oh, that stuff is really, really thick. Doesn't look like it.
It's like molasses.
In January? Or just like any other time of year?
It's like motor honey.
Alright, let's see how good I can do not making a mess.
Operation. Don't touch the side.
Oh, that's not possible.
Hey, nice work.
Come on, too bad.
Nice work.
Now my hands are covered in this stuff and there's no getting it off.
Save it for later.
Not even close to lined up with the oil pump. That's where it lines up.
It will only go in two ways. And if it's not pointing at number one, we may have to spin the oil pump shaft, but get it to seat first so we can see where it is pointing.
Yeah, we're gonna have to spin the oil pump shaft, but that's okay. Did I what?
Alright, it's time to get real. Did you rebuild the motor just so you could repaint it red?
That wasn't the main reasoning behind it. It was really because it would break with nitrous. But it's a nice benefit. Because this car, if you watch some of the previous episodes, we talk about the fact that the motor is red. Because typically AMC motors are painted teal. But this car was built to be sold in California. So they painted the block red. And that's why it's red again. For any of those AMC enthusiasts that are wondering why it is red. You see that happen?
You want to be a hand model?
Hand model. Like George Costanza.
His career was brief,
Yeah, that
but
iron,
highly decorated.
That iron just did him in.
Well,
If you're into dirty hands as a hand model, sure.
the distributor is in. The coil is in. We have a spanking new MSD programmable 6AL2 box. You're obsessed with that sticker, aren't you?
Sorry. Details, because that's important on this car.
All right. Why is this cool? This is cool because it's a capacitive discharge ignition system, high powered. That is a serial port connection, old school. I don't know why they still use these, but there is a side benefit to using this, and that means if you happen to have a laptop with that connector on it, you probably paid $5 for it on eBay, and it's disposable. So buy 2 or 3 of those because they're disposable. So that's good, cheap fun.
Yeah.
When you connect your dirt cheap laptop to this port on this ignition, it opens up a world of possibilities. What possibilities are those, you're asking me? Well, let me tell you. 3 different rev limits. One for the burnout, one for the launch, and one for over rev during the run. You've got multiple step retards for stages of nitrous, which you can power a specific wire on this box and it will remove ignition timing for you. You can ramp that ignition timing back in or out from this box. You can create a boost retard curve. You can create a launch rev limit curve. You can drop the ignition timing on the gear shift. You can run this with a 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder engine. You have options, my friend. Many, many options.
Again, all much too good for the Hornet.
Yeah, pretty much. Another cool thing is you can mount that virtually any way you want except upside down. Because when it's upside down, the water will not drain out of it. And I'm sure you're going to be fording rivers with this car, so don't do that.
Basically a Jeep.
Yeah. So find a good place to mount that and use these cool
Little rubber stand-up.
rubber isolators. Because the rubber isolators are the key.
Longevity.
Yes, these keep everything from shaking the box apart. Yeah,
Nice.
those are cool.
Yeah, very cool.
You can mount that in the engine compartment or inside the car. Engine compartment saves time, simplifies wiring.
We want it to look good, because that's important in a car like this.
All right, we've got options. Keep it away from water and heat. That's all that really matters. What are you thinking?
Thinking it's got to go on this side as far as the ignition system being on this side. Obviously, you don't want to run wires across your motor.
That's closer to the battery, but it doesn't have to go there. You could put it right there. There is enough cable to get the wiring from there to there to there. But you could put it right there.
That's what I'm thinking. Here. I mean, we talked about there, but like you said, might get water on it from the cow. So I'm thinking move some stuff and put it right there.
Yeah, that would be pretty slick. It looks good. I like how you followed the angle of the shock tower.
Details.
Yeah. Purple and green. That is going to communicate between our ignition box and the magnetic pickup in our distributor. Could you grab the zip tie over there?
Like Marshall Electric? They're not. McFadden Dale Hardware.
Oh man, that's old school vintage stuff. That's from Southern California. You don't
Really?
have McFadden-Dale Hardwares here.
No, we do not. Is that like a household name over there?
It is. And MasterCard and
Yeah, bigger
McFadden-Dale are not even, they're not even on the same planet, but there's Ace, Home Depot, and then 3 planets away is McFadden-Dale.
Big statement.
Like if you went to Home Depot and you needed stainless hardware, like a stainless bolt, you get, there's like 2 options at Home Depot, you know?
Yeah.
If you go to McFadden-Dale, you've got socket head, Phillips head, flat head.
There's a
Dude.
few aces that are like that, actually, but they're few and far between.
You need grade 8? Dude, we got your grade 8. We got it in black oxide. We got it in
Man.
gold. I mean, McFadden-Dale?
So they're like, are they like McMaster-Carr or better?
No, it's not as good as McMaster-Carr, because McMaster-Carr is like, that's as big as a city block.
Oh, it's huge.
You know? Okay, take a Fastenal and then add a Home Depot to it. And now you've got McFadden-Dale.
It's a good description.
Here's a good tip. This, which is going to go to the magnetic pickup, you can actually plug this in backwards, which my buddy Randy did, and the engine will run, just not very well.
Really?
Yeah, you can force that together. My buddy Randy did that back in the day to his boat, and the engine ran. Just
That's kind of surprising.
not very good. Now there's 3 harnesses for this box, and the nice thing about MSD stuff is all of their boxes wire pretty much the same way. This one here, pretty simple. Go direct to the battery. Red is positive, obviously, black is ground. This one here, orange and black, that goes to the coil. Orange to positive, black to negative. This one here, this is where all the fun happens. Red is 12 volt ignition. Gray is tack. Pink, that's what activates your step retards. So pink will be used when we hook up the nitro system. You energize the pink wire through like a micro switch, so you're wide open, 12 volts to this. This thing pulls ignition timing out, keeps your engine from dying. Then you've got the 2 blue wires. These are your rev limit wires. These you add 12 volts to or take it away, and these will activate different rev limiters through the ignition system, which is pretty cool.
Interesting.
Also a way to test this, you can ground this out and test the ignition system, and that one, I don't remember, but we don't need that right now. These ones we can shorten, because our box is
So
right
we're going
next
to
to
get
our
our
battery.
ignition power off the coil? No, 'cause that's not supposed to be 12 volts.
Yeah, you need to go, we need to run a wire from the
All
key
inside.
switch to this.
Okay.
So if you want to start doing that, and I will start wiring this.
Or is the MSD coil is supposed to have 12 volts.
No,
Yeah,
the
something
MSD
else.
coil, we're not putting power to that any longer. It's going to get it from this. This is actually
Okay.
going to have high current going to that from the ignition box.
Gotcha.
So, another thing to think about, when the engine is running, don't hook test equipment to the coil terminals, and pretty much don't grab that, because it's going to shock the hell out of you now.
Okay. So what do I do with the wires that used to run to the coil? Just
Tape
tape
those
them
up.
up and leave them?
Tape those up and wait for, an AMC nut to want to restore the car.
What about... yeah, okay. They're going to hate me. What about my tack?
Your tack wire will now go to the gray wire here.
Okay. So you need power off the ignition?
Yeah, I need 12 volts in the run start positions. Look at that. Plug wires, distributors in, boxes wired. And oh yeah, look at that serial cable going out of the box to the high-tech device known as the laptop computer. Except this is a new laptop that does not have a serial port, so there is a USB to serial port converter, which requires software to operate. So what's going on?
Just clearly going well. Yeah. My computer right now is trying to find the driver for this particular adapter, and it's really annoying. And I like the old style distributor that didn't require a computer. But, hey, it's kind of cool that my laptop is connected to a 1972 AMC Hornet Sportabout right now. Of all cars in the world, that's the car. Who would have thought?
That's one way to look at it. And why do we have to do all this? Well, because that ignition box from the factory is probably programmed for a V8, not an inline 6. And yeah, we need to let the ignition box know a few things about this engine before we fire it. So we'll continue computing. Enhance. Enhance.
We have the technology.
Enhance.
No.
Okay,
I'm
we'll be
giving,
back
I'm giving
as
up
soon-
on this part.
We'll be back as soon as this actually
I'm going to do it
functions.
manually. Go into their website and get the driver because this is not working.
All right.
I've been waiting for 15 minutes or so.
Oh, 15 minutes. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, come on. We've restarted the computer, downloaded the software for the adapter from the website. Cross your fingers. Ha! It's communicating.
A laptop is talking to a rusty old wagon.
Yeah, ironic, right?
It's weird.
All right. Let's go to data editor. Now, rev burn, rev max, rev launch. These are your three rev limits. The rev launch and rev burn, that's the light blue and the dark blue wire, neither of which we've hooked up yet. So messing with them doesn't really matter. Rev max, however, is set to 9,500. And I don't think you ever want to wing this to 9,500.
not quite. I
So-
don't think that would be a great idea.
Let's lower this. What do you think? 6,000?
6,000's probably about where you want to not go any higher with this motor. You might not even want to go past 5,500.
Alright, let's go less.
Do we want to be safe or do we want to be heroes?
5,500. Save the PC. Okay, retards. Eventually, when we put the nitrous on, we will use this. Right now, we're not going to. So we're going to minimize that. Cylinder count, 8. No.
No, definitely have 6.
Whoops, that's 4. 6 cylinders. None of this stuff down here we're using. So in theory, this thing should be ready to fire up. Now what we've got to do, now that we've made changes, is we now need to transfer everything from the computer to the laptop. So we're going to push transfer. PC to MSD. User data. And there it goes. We're now putting everything we want there.
Nice. I like how you're wearing your Jerry Rig University hoodie while tuning with a laptop. Like, that doesn't go together.
Yeah. There's that.
It's good stuff, man. Even though you have Jerry Rig University as a thing, you definitely do things right.
This will retard ignition timing for gear changes, for boost. So these are a couple of screens that we can use later. If this was supercharged or turboed, here's a boost retard curve. And this will reduce ignition timing based on pounds of boost. Over here, run retard curve. This will reduce ignition timing based on engine RPM. We're not going to be using any of this right now, and we are going to be relying on the centrifugal and vacuum advanced systems in that distributor right now for our ignition advanced curve. Makes sense. So now we're going to fire the car up, set our base ignition timing with the timing light, and then we'll wing the motor up to about 2,500 RPM and see how much the distributor itself is going to advance the ignition timing.
You can see the Sharpie mark.
grab a wrench.
That's where it's pointing right now, the rotor. So it's on the leading edge of number 1.
Okay. We should grab a wrench because this is probably too far advanced. When we checked TDC, I think this thing was sitting at 12 degrees advanced.
Yeah.
And this engine, according to everything I read on the internet, wants 6 degrees at idle and no more than 13 at full advance. Not a V8.
Not quite 47? Or 27 like it's running at right now?
Not quite the 27 it came in with.
No, 47. It left with 27.
It was 47, that's right. Go ahead. Hold on. I think your battery's a little low. That's not why it's not running, but I do think your battery's a little low. Go ahead. Okay, shut it off. Alright, that's too far retarded. So your base timing is set at about 5, and it goes to about 13. So she's right about where she needs to be. I would hook the vacuum advance line up. That'll help you get a little better fuel economy.
Okay.
Electric choke being hooked up will help it start easier. But other than that, I think she's ready to go find out whether or not she'll do burnouts.
In the rain.
Well, if it doesn't do burnouts in the rain, just turn in your man card.
Yeah. I think I turned that in when I bought this car. Let's be honest.
Yeah, according to the internet, this should idle between
That's 600.
450 and 650 somewhere in there, and it should have 5 to 6 degrees of base timing and no more than 13 total. It's louder.
That's weird.
All right. Let's go drive it around and warm it up, because clearly it's not happy. This car was weird. The idle mixture screws were turned all the way in, and yet it was still idling. Not terribly impressed with this new used car that you bought.
No, and I'm not either. And it's probably my fault because I rebuilt it. So I can't blame anybody but me.
Well, let's go to the top secret testing space
And hope for burnouts.
and hope for burnouts on wet pavement.
Can I get over there?
Are you on the floor?
being optimistic for burnouts.
Dude, that's not good.
It's not good at all.
Is this the road? It doesn't matter. Just right
Just
here.
go here?
Yeah, just do it.
Oh, goodness. We need to say a quick prayer. Please do a burn. Make me feel good about myself.
All right, we'll see you next time on Finnegan's Garage.
Don't give up on it yet. Oh, no!
Should have put an LS in it. That's what everyone's going to say.
It's so slow. I wonder how much you've spent on this one so far. I don't want to know. Don't talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, internet, why do I trust you? Looked up the specs for base timing, and the internet said 6 degrees, which seems really, really low for a cylinder head with a chamber that's really not that efficient. So, took the car out, ran like poop. We're now going to put more timing in it. We're going to shoot for about 35 degrees total. So, between the 12 we're going to get out of the centrifugal and the 12 or 13 we're going to get out of the vacuum advance, I don't know, we're probably going to put another 10 or 12 base and then go out and drive it again, see what happens.
Hopefully it's a little better, because that was awful. That's the worst this car has ever run.
So it's 30-ish degrees outside right now?
Very warm. Shorts weather. See?
Yes.
Show off those nice calves.
And all that's left really is to attempt to do a burnout in the rain, because that's going to be a good test of whether rebuilding the engine, adding a 4-barrel carb, an aluminum intake, a header, and a, I don't know, what, $1,000 ignition system
Yeah.
was a worthwhile investment.
God was looking out for me today. He was like, yeah, I'll throw you a bone, give you some water to do a burnout.
Yeah,
If I
yeah.
can't do a burnout, I might go home and cry a little bit.
I'm going to put a garbage bag over my camera and go out there and stand in the rain just to witness this.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's dedication.
Because I care. And we need an ending for this video.
That's a solid ending.
Yeah. If it works.
If it works. If it fails, it'll be funny at least. All right. That was remarkably, like, it went really well once we got the laptop to connect to it.
Once you do things the right way, they work. It's crazy. My hands are frozen. I can't even unplug that.
Not good. Okay, well, next time on Finnegan's Garage, oh wow, what do you, oh god, red, it's not orange, it's red. Next time on Finnegan's Garage, I bailed Jake out of jail.